The diversity of ocean life is unparalleled. In French Polynesia in the Pacific, there are over 1,000 different species of fish. To protect them, there are many big picture things we can do, like halting the use of fossil fuels, creating marine protected areas, and reducing plastic waste. Although, on a local level, the first step in protecting marine life is often deceptively simple: naming and counting them. But who catalogues marine life and how? Often, this is a manual job done by expert divers who go beyond counting to make interventions, inform policy, and drive systematic changes to keep ecosystems thriving. Today, we are speaking to an inspiring marine biologist, diver, and educator from French Polynesia, La biologiste qui zozote, the biologist with a lisp. I'm Jess Caldry, and you're listening to episode 3 of Art Strategy Impact, the podcast bridging disciplines to reimagine how we live, build, and belong in harmony with nature. This mini series on ocean governance is generously supported by the Australian French Association for Innovation and Research. Jessica Tran is a marine biologist and science communicator in Tahiti, French Polynesia, known for her fun and educational videos about ocean life. She is also a professional diver with over 500 recorded dives where she restores the ecosystem to help preserve marine life. Online, Jessica helps young people around the world build skills to identify fish and corals. Both talented and informative, Jessica's popular videos explain how to identify local species in Latin, French, and the Tahitian language, Rio Tahiti. She presents their significance, their role in the ocean, and behavior patterns to raise awareness about conservation. Jessica is also passionate about inclusion. She cares deeply about the preservation of Polynesian culture and shares positively about her speech difference. Her nickname for herself is the biologist qui zozote, the biologist with a lisp. Catchy, fun, and authentic, exactly like the style of her videos. Welcome to the podcast, Jessica.
Hello.
Nice to have you here.
Me too.
So, coming from a Vietnamese and Madagascan background, as I understand it, I know you grew up in New Caledonia and you now live and work in Tahiti. So, I wanted to hear from you, how have these places and these cultures influenced your perspective of the ocean and marine life?
So this is a very big question for me because it's like my relationship with the ocean and the sea. It's very important for me. And so I grew up in New Caledonia and I was born there. And then I lived in the Réunion Island. And after I lived by Nice in the south of France, when I was like a teenager. And my mom is from Madagascar and my dad from Vietnam. But the love of the ocean don't come from my parents because they don't really like the sea. My mother is from an island, but she can't swim, and I think it's like to live close to the ocean every day in the island and like to meet people with cultures with a particular relationship in every island. I think it's something that influenced me to build my own relationship with the marine life. So it's like the environment and the people that I met that that put me like this curiosity and this love and this passion that I had for the marine life.
Ah, that's so interesting. So you spent a bit of time near the beach growing up, but your parents didn't necessarily introduce you to the ocean. How did you find your way to becoming so connected with the ocean?
So I think that I've always been next to the ocean, but I never I was never conscious about it since I was in Paris for my studies. And then without ocean, without the sea, and with very gray weather. So I was like, when I live in Paris, I was like, well, without the ocean, it's very complicated for like the everyday life. And initially I didn't want to be in the stereotype like, I always been next to the I'm always lived in an island, so I'm a ocean baby. No, I wasn't like that. And it was during my studies that I was studying the general biology, and I wanted to connect more with things that passionate me and like wake up my curiosity. And my favorite lectures during the university was the about marine life. So I think that the academic theory uh, drive me to the passion for the marine life, because when I was little, it was just my background.
That's so interesting. I suppose often the more we understand something, the more we can appreciate it.
Mm-mm. Yes, I'm okay with
And you
that.
must, yeah, and you must have had some really inspiring teachers to reawaken your interest in marine life.
Mm-mm-mm.
Lovely. So I know there are so many beautiful plants and animals in the ocean, especially around Tahiti. Do you have any favorite species that you've seen?
Oh, I have a lot. I have a lot. There's a lot of things that we can love in French Polynesia in the water. I think the waters here is known for the big species like sharks, whales, turtles, but I think there's so much more. And one of my favorite species is all the genera Montipora. It's corals. It's a hard coral. I love it because it's in an interesting form. So it will like fit in the substrate and have the form of the initial environment. So it was like um, it adapts itself to the environment. And when you see closer, you can see his polyps, like the polyps, like the individuals of corals, and it looks like teeny teeny marguerites. And I think it's very so pretty. So it's one of my favorite genera in the marine life. And the second is little bigger, but not that much. It's an hermit crab that you can see in a tropical region in the world. It's the genera Dardanus. It's like the sea anemone hermit crab, and it lives by night, and the day he just sleep, and by night he can like run on the sand in the lagoon. And it's very beautiful because he has like sea anemone on his shell, so he's very charismatic. And when
Ah.
he change his shell, he will keep the same anemone all his whole life. Like he will cut it and he will place it on a new shell. So it's like very fascinating relationship between an hermit crab and a sea anemone, and he's very different. I think it's my two favorite
Oh,
species.
I think the crab sounds particularly interesting. Do they change their shells often?
The hermit crab, I don't know the frequency, but when it grows up, he needs to more place, so a bigger shell that he can find in the lagoon. So I think it depends on the life stage, but yes, he has to change it regularly, and at each change, his sea anemone for life.
Cool. And are these species you often see on your dives?
There's two species.
Yeah, your two
Uh,
favorites. Do you see them
so
much?
yes, Montipora is very common species of corals here in French Polynesia. It's not the dominant one, but I think in each lagoon you can see it because it's a genera with a lot of species. Dardanus, we have two species here in French Polynesia, and by night we only we can only see it by night. And every time I do, because I love snorkeling by night, and every time go swim in the lagoon by night, I can see it. So I think it's very common too, but nobody's talking about because it's not very common to go by night in the lagoon. So I think all the species that we can meet here in the darkness are underestimated.
Wow. I often think of the bottom of the ocean being quite dark, but I've never thought about diving during the evening in general, because I suppose in the lagoons it's quite shallow. There's usually probably a lot of light, but I suppose maybe that um, makes species more easy to see by their predators. So it makes sense that some of them would be coming out at nighttime.
There are some like the eels and sharks, but when you have like it's like a night dive. When you go like for a night dive, you have some security. You have to do some security things to keep it safe. But like the risk is here by night and by the day. So you have to respect like the distance between wildlife and yourself. You have to be more careful where you put your hands because maybe during the day you can like when you are in the current you want to see something you can grab dead corals, but by night there's a lot of predator that we don't know but is very how do we say? It can hide very well on the substrate, so you can see them. So you have to be more careful because the animals that show by night, they are very venomous or it can be dangerous. So you have to be more careful. But I think that you are in the darkness, you have your light. So you have to focus on what you see on the light. And you're not distracted with the rest because it's totally dark. And I think the focus is okay. Like psychology, you are like, I'm by night. I only see the light so I can focus. And for me, it's like the best feeling because it looks like you're in the moon and you see a lot of species that you don't usually see. So yes, you don't have to do it alone, but it's very good experience and it's free. Not like a night dive. So you can like see, marine life in the night without to pay and with an extension of time because you're not with dive tank, so you can like do it like hours and hours. So I think it's a very good experience, and we have to think about it. And I have a buddy to go with, but yes.
Wow, it sounds really interesting. So I'm picturing you, have you got like a snorkel on and a torch in your hands? Is that
Mm-mm.
how you go?
Yes, man,
Okay,
maybe we can go together one day here in the Lagoon of
one
French
day.
Polynesia.
Oh, that sounds so lovely. And I'm trying to picture as well, like if I was on an evening dive looking around, does anything glow? I know in some places things are bioluminescent. Is anything like that in Tahiti?
Yes, there is, but I don't. I have like regular light. I think that all the fluorescent and bioluminescent animals works with blue light. So I don't have one, but yes, I saw some pictures and videos about for example, corals that are they have like a fluorescent protein, and we can see it by night with a blue light. And there's other things, and I think the most relevant observation I did, it was in a blackwater dive. So blackwater dive is not like snorkeling by night. You go far away from the coast and for the barrier reef between Tahiti and Malware, and you put like a big light on the boat, and you stimulate the vertical migration of the plankton, so you can see a lot of animals that come from the deepness, very very deepness of the ocean. And then you can see like all little animals that compose the plankton and can be bioluminescent. So it's very, very, very cool. And you can see like all the it looks like aliens to me, because there's a lot of species that I really don't know from the deep ocean. And yes, you can see like fluorescent, bioluminescent, and a lot of colors on very, very teeny things. So yes,
Wow.
I hope we can see it together.
Sounds amazing. Absolutely. I have to come to Tahiti.
Yeah.
Wow, sounds amazing. So when this big light turns on and all the plankton come up, is it because all the fish are wanting to eat the plankton that they're coming as well? Is that why?
Yes, you can see some predators, but I've never seen like a big one like sharks or anything. But I think it's the risk. But I didn't do a lot of black dive in my life, so I don't know. And but you can see like the babies of predators, like you can see a very little the larva stage of a lot of animals. So you can there's a lot of things that I don't know about it, because it's like I usually work with the marine species and in the reef and around the reef, but not on the deep ocean. So it's totally new for me. So yes, there's a risk. There's some predators that can come by, but I never see them.
Okay. Wow, there must be so much biodiversity.
Yeah, but we don't know. I think there's like only 1%, a few percent of the ocean that we know. So I can't imagine all the things we don't know in the deep ocean. And the black dive is like a little sampling of what we can see. So it's very cool. But I think that not a lot of animals does this vertical migration. So yes, there's so much to discover about it.
Yeah, wow. That's amazing. I suppose, as we were mentioning in the intro, as a diver, you're collecting a lot of data, you're tracking what species you're seeing, how many you're seeing. I suppose it's so important to have this sort of information to help with conservation and to help with policy. So it's crazy to think that we only know a few percent of the ocean, but you're clearly doing a great job in your work, helping to document what we do know and do see. And that leads me into my next question. So, as an influencer on social media, I know you create lots of really engaging videos about different species watched by people around the world. So I'd love to hear what made you want to share your love of the ocean online.
Yes, it's a big adventure I began at the beginning of the year. So I have a background on the NGO. So at the beginning of my career, I was marine biologist for the association Tamari Pointe des Pêcheurs. It's a little NGO in the west coast of Tahiti. And we welcomed a lot of children and a lot of people for like marine sensibilization. So it was where I began to love to share my knowledge and share this passion with people. So I built this skills with this association. And then for now, I work for a private consultancy, and then I'm only volunteer in the weekend for the NGO. So it was something that missed me in my everyday life. So I wanted to keep this kind of transmission with the people and sharing this passion about marine life. So one way I wanted to do it was via social media. So I always love to do videos, but only in private for my friends and my family. And then I was like, okay, I can try it. So it's like a little challenge for me because I have like a speaking difference. And at the beginning, I was not very confident. But then I was like, okay, I have to share a lot about marine life. And I think that Polynesian marine life is underrepresented in the social medias and in the audiovisual in particular. So I wanted to have this vision about marine life in French Polynesia, but also the cultural parts.
So it's great to hear about your inspiration. Thank you for sharing. And there's one video in particular I was really curious to hear about. I know one of your shark videos went viral and had over 1 million views around the world, which is amazing. Could you tell us a bit about what was in that video?
Yes, so the shark videos is the second episode of a mini series that in English means Discover Marine Life with Me in Tahiti. So I think that to put it like a mini series, it's engaging people to know every day or regularly a lot about Polynesian marine life. And the second episode was about the sharks, so very charismatic species in the world, so in French Polynesia. So this episode was about to have not this vision what that we all have about shark and biology, ecology of shark, but only on the cultural vision of shark because the sharks are very important in Polynesian culture. And in the Maori culture, so in Tahitian cultures, sharks can be like a taura. So I'm not Polynesian, so if some Polynesians see it and can correct myself, it's okay. And taura is like an emblematic animals, but can be an ancestor or a symbology for a family. And a lot of marine species can be that, but in the very in the royal lineage of a family in Tahiti, the sharks is like the very powerful taura. So I was like talking about the notion of taura. Sorry, in English it's very abstract, but it's like I tried my best. And so the shark can be a taura, and it was a way for me to introduce people with the notion of taura in here that is very important here in French Polynesia. And I think that people were curious about shark and then discover or think about very strong about the Polynesian culture. So I think it's why there's a lot of engagement with this video. And I had also a lot of critics about the way I speak. So I think it was it was like a cocktail of that catch the curiosity of people, like my way to speak, the sharks, and the cultural vision of sharks in the French Polynesia. I think it's like everything that put this video on the world war.
Wow, I think it takes a lot of bravery to put yourself out there. And, you know, it's sad to hear that you got some negative comments as well. I'm sorry to hear that, but I'm sure you inspired and helped a lot of people as well. And I suppose particularly around how different cultures see the ocean. I think in Western viewpoints, the way that we view the ocean and interact with the ocean, it's not working and it's not sustainable, and we need a new way to see the world. And I think that understanding how cultures who've lived harmoniously with the ocean for such a long time, we can learn so much. So I can imagine many people being curious about different ways to see and understand the animals around us.
Yes, I'm okay with that because I think the most common way to see marine life is in the Western scientific way, and there's a lot of knowledge that are not documented in the world about the vision and the traditional knowledge, and it's something very fragile. I don't know the words in English, but like we can lost this knowledge with the generation by generation, and I think it's very important to encourage young islanders to share the knowledge, to go talk with the elder people in the family. And it was for me the videos, it's a way to encourage people to do it, because I didn't have the chance to have the knowledge of my ancestors, because my parents comes from their country to France, and they didn't share their culture, just so we can, as a child, be integrated in the French society. So I think it's a way to me to reconnect with the traditional knowledge of island people, and a way for me to discover about it. So yes, I hope it can at my scale, to encourage people to be more curious about the cultural knowledge than the scientific knowledge. That is very, very important too, but the traditional knowledge are underrepresented, and it's very important to talk and to learn about it.
It's such a great mission to share. And I see that you often combine facts with fun and color and excitement. And I'm curious to hear and how the way science is taught in schools. Do you think we need more engaging and fun ways to encourage young people to become scientists?
Yes, and I think that the way I edit my videos with fun facts and very colors and very catchy things, it's a thing I did to catch attention of people, and I think it works a lot on the young people, because I think that we are a generation with very, very short time of concentration, and in school is not very okay, because we have it's like the Jules Ferry school. You have to sit and to listen to one person, and don't participate in the lecture, or the school, during the class. And I think there is a problem, and now we can see the limit, because we are a lot on social medias. We consume a lot of short formats, short videos, like only carousel photo, etc., that don't need us to be concentrated for more than 1 minute. And I think that there's two problems. There's a problem that we consume too much medias on internet. It's very paradoxal for me to say it, because I participate on it, but I want to, not only for divertisement, but also for education content. Is very important to include this educational content in this like we can say today, the brain rot machine. So and the second problem is that the traditional school system today is not adapted for the young people because I think today young people need connection between humans and connection with nature, and just to be sitting at a desk and listen to an adult that we can't always trust. So I think that there's like a transition to we have to do a transition between these two systems. And yes, I think that social media is a good way to catch attention, and also to uh, to reconnect young people with the scientific education that can be maybe boring in school. So, but there's a lot of creator contents that understand this, and I think it's a way to, yes, to wake up the curiosity of young people.
I agree, and I think science needs a rebrand as well. I didn't like science in school, and I think when I was about 14, I stopped doing it. And my teacher said, "Oh, you never know, you might be interested in the future. You should continue." I said, "No, I'm never going to be interested in science. It's so boring." And then I ended up doing a master's in science. And I think I just didn't know that being a scientist is about being an explorer and being an investigator and coming up with sometimes crazy ideas and testing them and building a process and a system to try things and figure things out. And I think the role of imagination in that, in yeah, like you said, connecting with the world around you, understanding how it is and how it could be, and the information that can bridge the gap, and being curious and excited and hungry to um, find that information, find that knowledge, uncover how things work. I mean,
Mm-mm.
it's not how the classroom feels, is it? Often we're asked to memorize things and to, recite things for tests. And I think that creativity and that sense of connection is something that is really missing from Western science.
Mm-mm. Yes, I'm okay with that, and I think there's also like the very elitist form of science when we are young, like only the science class are valorized, like the mathematics and biology. And when the child is like, I only like letters and language and learn different languages, a lot of parents are like, oh no, there's so much more future with scientific knowledge than with letter knowledge or artistic knowledge, for example. And I think that there's this problem too, like we put a lot of pressure on children with science class that are very elitist and not very sexy. And I think that most of us were wanted to go on science as a children because our parents share with us these things but if you want to success in life, you have to go towards science, not for passion but for success. I think that's something we have to uh, I don't know the English word of deconstruction, like you have to
Mhm.
rebrand it and rethink about it. So yes, there's a lot of mixed things about science. But you're today you're a scientist. You see, like you said, it's very cool to be an explorer. And if I was a child and people say to me, "Science makes you an explorer," so yes, every children we go to science.
Of course. And it's so true what you said about what parents say as well, of like, oh, it's a practical subject. Like you
Mm,
need to do it if you want a good job. They don't say, like when you make something in art class, oh, did you have fun? Oh, looks amazing. Like, did you enjoy it? And why this color and why that color? Like the curiosity and the excitement. We need to bring that to science as well and uncover that yeah, that excitement because it is exciting.
I'm okay with it.
Cool. So, my next question for you, Jessica, is, and this ties into your TikTok handle, which I'll link in the comments for the viewers. But on TikTok, you call yourself La Biologist qui zozote, the biologist who lisps. And I wanted to ask you if you have any advice for other people who um, have a difference or want to be more authentic, how do you embrace who you are in how you share your ideas with the world?
Yeah. It was very difficult for me to expose myself on social medias with this difference because I had a lot of comments, but um, thanks to life, I, these comments didn't reach me because I think that a lot of people with little or big differences know that we grew up with mockeries and comments about our difference, so we are conscious about our differences. And I think that as an adult, it builds some self-confidence what that we have to build with in everyday life, like not only as a teenager but also as an adult. And for me, the best things to do is to I know it's more it's easier to say it than to do it, but just to accept our differences is very, very important because we are in the society, not only like in the real life, but also on social media, that there is a lot, it miss diversity. And a lot of people want to do like the same things, look alike, the same, like it's always the same thing. So I think that some diversity is very risky because you expose yourself to do differently than a majority of people. But I think it's a kind of richness too because you can show that a human being can be very different. And I think that people with little or big differences can be ambassadors of this difference because, like I said, we don't see a lot of people that represent this difference on the social media. So if you don't see it, be the first one and be the ambassador of people that maybe can't don't want to expose themselves or share their passion just because they have differences. So I think it's very important for me to see it like we are ambassador of one difference, so we can show people with the same difference and not feeling alone too, because in my comments I have a lot of people that say they have a lisp too, but uh, they don't like they don't want to talk and they don't want to do videos because of it. But I was like, they it doesn't have to stop you from what you want sharing, and um it has to be your force.
That's so inspiring, and it's amazing that you've been able to connect directly with other people with a speech difference as well, and give them a bit more encouragement and a bit of a push to maybe share their own voices and their passion as well. So, yeah, kudos to you. That's fantastic, and I'm sure you will inspire not just people with speech differences, but all sorts of people in whatever way they're different to be authentic and to share and to focus on putting their passion first. And I think that's amazing. So well done. Um, and one final question for you today, Jessica. I know a lot of people are interested in the ocean, but they don't necessarily live on an island or live close to the beach. So, what's something that listeners can do to help protect the ocean, even if they don't live close by?
Oh, we can do a lot of things because we are in the era of internet. So I think we can share a lot of things, and social medias can be a way to raise awareness about the ocean protection. But if we don't mm, live close to the ocean, I think the best idea is to raise awareness from where we are, because all the lands are connected to oceans. So to see, like, if you are not on an island and you live like in the land without a sea around it, you can like see what there is rivers connected to ocean, there's other ecosystems, and to be engaged to protect this ecosystem is also very important to protect the ocean because everything is connected. So I know it's very sexy to be like, yes, I love the ocean. I want to be a mermaid. Yes, it's very sexy. I think we forgot a lot of the uh, terrestrial biodiversity too, and I think it's very important. And we have to do more often the connection between the land biodiversity and the marine biodiversity. So if people don't live next to the island, they need to protect the ecosystem that are around them, and this is the most important. And we need also to be very careful of this vision of why we want to protect the ocean. Is it because it's very sexy to be next to coral reefs? And yes, there's like, I think there's like a ideal is I don't know what the term is, but like a good image of protecting the ocean. Why is it um, less sexy to protect the land biodiversity? So I think there's also a colonization view and a
Mm.
Western view on the protecting the ocean. So we have to be careful as Western people to be how do you say, conscious about it. And but we have to, the first things is to protect the ecosystem around us. We I don't really I don't really believe in little like gesture of everyday life to protect. I think we have to connect as a group. I think we have to be engaged, and in the political scales, we have to reach our voices of people to protect ecosystems in general. So I think that the best way to protect nature is to connect as a group and raise the voices for the protection of nature. And I think it's the best thing we can do today.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Um, that's all super helpful. So I suppose, yeah, people who are far from the ocean don't think you're disconnected from it because uh, pollution, chemicals, local ecosystems, rivers, they're all flowing to the ocean. So it's more connected than you think. And exactly like you said, focusing on local advocacy, policies of where you are that affect the ocean and building community with other people as well is such an important proponent of making change. You don't have to fly to another country and be in a coral reef to do something for the ocean. Everything is connected beautifully, like you explained. So that's all so inspiring. Thank you for sharing today, Jessica, and telling us all more about your work and what life is like as a marine biologist in Tahiti. So, with that, I'd like to thank you for being on the podcast today and say farewell.
Yes, thank you, Jess, for inviting me. And it was my first podcast in English. So thank you for this challenge. Thank you for be interested in my story. And it was a very good pleasure. Maururu!
Thanks, Jessica. To follow along for future episodes, join us at Art Strategy Impact on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram, as well as jesscoldry.com/podcast. That's JESSCOLDREY.com/podcast. Thanks for listening.